In creating a base drawing with an Iassy, we're going to create a base part, and I went to my throttle needles assembly, which is an Iassy. And the thing that we can do is we can go to model state, and we can say if we want the high speed or the idle speed. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this to right and change my scale down here, and it puts it in the correct configuration. And now if I go to annotate and create a parts list, I'm going to select this view, say OK. I'm going to set it down here, and notice that I have high speed needle -01, and I have these things. So the part number needs to be set up in the parameters of the parts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my parts and set those correctly. In order to make sure that we've got the correct things going into our bill of materials, the correct definitions, we're going to go into this table. And what I did was I came to iProperties and I took the part description, which is under the project, the description, and I set it over here, and I actually set some parameters to that. So this will go in the description in the parts list, or in the BOM. When we go to options here, you want to set the part number to a value. So this is going to be your root value, your prefix or your cage code, your base number. Your initial value would start with 1 with a dash separator, and it'll be 3 digits. So the preview is -1, -2. And then we're going to set to the part number instead of the factory file name, and say OK. And when we do that, we're going to do that in all. So we're going to go here. I'm sorry, that's the wrong part. I'm going to bring this part up. And when I go to this table and double click on the table, I can edit it as well. I'm going to do the same thing, set to a value of the part number with its cage code and its base number, initial value of 1 with a separator and 3 digits, and set to part number. Alright, also I went to properties and I added the project description of the part over here, and I set the actual description over here. Now if you put this in lowercase, it will come out in lowercase in your bill of materials, and you'll have to manually change it. So when I went to the drawing, let me just show you how I did this. I'm going to put in a base view. I'm going to go to the assembly that I have open, throttle needles assembly, and if I go to display options, model state, I'm going to use a high speed. Let's look at it from the right hand side and set it down. Now notice that the threads are showing on here, so I went to right here and I said that I wanted to show drawing dimensions, retrieve dimensions. I'll show you that in a second, but anyway, I said show thread. So if you go to edit the view and you go to display options, you can say show thread the thread features. So that's really nice. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to annotation, add a parts list, select the view, because we could have multiple assemblies, and say OK. And I'm going to set it down here, and now my part number comes out correct, and my knob and needle description come out correctly. And whenever I go to create balloons, select on one part and select on the next part. And that's how we would have an Iassy in here. And when we go in and we put our parameters in our title block, it should come up correctly.